So hello, everyone. This is Toni.
And Jay.
And you guys, we want to bring to you a call that we wanted to do. I just came off of an incredible 2-day mastermind. We talked a lot about mindset, but what really prompted this call was because some of our Australian team members, they've been through like their first round of like challenges over the past couple of weeks. And so, one of our amazing market partners asked us, Toni, we're a little bit challenged with mindset right now. So we wanted to share with you, and especially going into Bright Friday, going into the end of this year, is that mindset is everything. When you are working on your business, when you're working with your team, when you're working with potential VIPs, with potential prospects. So what we wanted to share with you is a little bit of our non-negotiables when it comes to mindset. But what I'm going to do is I want Kat to go first, because the reason why I asked Kat specifically to do this call, you guys, we have been together at the helm of this thing since she launched in Canada, was the very first market partner in Canada. And really, I have seen her grow so much. Hold on one second. There was a call coming in. We've seen her grow so much in her mindset and what she has been able to do, not only as just a market partner, but as a single parent. I met her, Perry was, I think, 3 or 4 at the time. Yeah, she was 3, because now she's 10. And I've watched Kat blossom. I've watched her grown into the role that she's grown into. She's been incredible in transitioning her mindset, being the single parent, massage therapist, one income, relying on her parents to help her. But now what has happened is that her entire family is in the business. She's got her mom, her sister, she's got, her brother, her cousins. And I mean, they have just made this an incredible family affair, but I have watched them grow. And I am so proud to have her on this call. So Kat, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I want you to share all the great things about mindset, my friend.
Hello, can you hear me good? Okay, perfect. So funny thing is, and I feel like this is a lesson in mindset right here, because I am just in as soon as I'm off of this, I hop downstairs to a meeting with Jesse R. Snow, our new person in Monet, Canada, and our regional sales manager to prep for a Super Saturday tomorrow. But I said yes to this call because I know how important these things are, right? I know number one thing of mindset for all of you to understand, and I grasped this really early on in my business, is that every time you give, you get, right? We understand that in the simplicity of the law of abundance, right? But that comes right down to if I want to level up my business, if I want to become a better leader, I need to give to other people the knowledge I already have. And then I always picture it as creating room in my head for more new leveled up knowledge to come in, right? And so that is why I prioritize these kinds of things. Anytime I can come into contact with people, anytime I can share what I've learned over 7 years. And I've been actually thinking a lot about the last 7 years, as in specifically 2015, which was the first 5 months of my business. To kind of share briefly with you guys, in my business, it was on 3 months and I hit MM, 4 months and I hit MMM, and we didn't have product. We only had product packs. We couldn't get VIPs or anything like that. I literally, until halfway through my 3rd month. Okay. That right there was, I didn't come from another network marketing company. I didn't come from a sales background. I don't know how many of you would say that your massage therapist was your most sales person that you prefer us to just be quiet, right? Not talk to you, right? So that wasn't that. And I was talking to someone this week actually about it. And I said, you know what? Yeah, I didn't know people. I was a single mom. And at that time, currently, I was literally working in the bar scene at 26 years old with 18, 19 and 20, 21 year olds, right? Their mindsets weren't in this place of sink or swim, fight or flight. They were just there for a good time, right? They were there to have some fun. They weren't really thinking long-term, much like I wasn't at, that age. So I didn't necessarily have this plethora network that was just ready to run. And yes, my mom and sister said yes to this business, because people will be like, oh, well, your mom and sister said yes. those two didn't even start working until October. Like they would share it, but they didn't actually like see this as an opportunity that was going to like change their lives. Right. But I had a mindset, and I want to share this with you because I feel like a lot of you kind of hold mindset as something that's just, you're either going to have it or you're not that day. I'm either going to have a strong mind today or I'm not. And you're just kind of throwing it to like the universe to control that. And who here would love to be able to control the mindset that you're going to walk into that day? Like who would freaking love that, right? Like you're just like, you know what? I want to be able to control that. I want to wake up in the morning and let the devil freaking know I am up, right? And he's hiding today. Right? That's how I want it to be. But that doesn't happen by you just like crossing your fingers at nighttime, taking your sleep drops and applying your Rejuvenate to your lips if you live in the cold like I do. And then you just wake up in the morning and you're like, boom, let's go. Right? No, that's not how it works. Okay. So there are things that number one thing you have to do is you have to create a situation in where, if you want this is for people who want this. Okay. If you're still playing in the kiddie pool, that's okay. Have fun there, have your floaties, all that kind of stuff. Like that's great. But if you're ready to go off the high dive, if you're ready to like jump into the deep end and you want to freaking go, you need to create it, right? Woo! You need to create this to be your plan A. Right? You can't walk like this is a plan B. You're no longer calling this a side hustle. When people are talking to you, this is your job. This is what you do. You guys, I was a freaking MMB 11 days into my business, and I had no idea what that even meant at all. I'd never even tried the products yet, right? Because they hadn't even come to Canada yet, right? And our team had already done over 10,000 just in product pack sales. Okay. I had no idea. But you know what? When people ask me, what do you do? I immediately stopped saying I was a massage therapist. Immediately. Right? I'm like, actually, and I'm like a little bit weird and I'm a little bit like offside at times. And I like to like read the crowd, obviously, but I would just say, well, I used to be something, but I found something that helped me not have to touch naked people for money. And then they'll be like, what? I was like, no, I was a massage therapist, but like, I'm not going to have to do that anymore because I found this. Right. And I was always like, this was the answer. This was the key. This was the solution before it was showing it was as a solution in my bank account. Because as a single parent with no child support, I have my daughter 24/7. Her father left when I was 4 months pregnant and we never saw him again. Like $2,000 wasn't going to like come in and pay my bills in my house. Like I needed to make that 5-figure a month. I needed to go for that place so that I could like, you know, be home with my baby, be home with my girl, be the hockey coach. Cause that's what I wanted. So that's the first thing is you're no longer treating this like a side hustle. This isn't a side hustle to you. This is not your plan B. This is your freaking plan A. Right. And you have to like tell that to yourself. And I know that sometimes that feels absolutely nuts, you guys. And this is the second part of mindset, because so many of you, if I were to tell you to go walk into your bathroom right now and look in the freaking mirror and pump yourself up, you'd feel embarrassed. There's no one freaking around and you're going to feel embarrassed. There's no one looking at you right now in that moment and you're going to feel awkward. Why? You should be the most comfortable with yourself. So you know how you do that, right? Mindset is a muscle. You have to work it out, right? I was not this person. Toni is speaking to that, right? I was not this person 7 years ago. Okay. It was actually this weekend, 7 years ago, that I met Toni Vanschoyck for the first time in Toronto for Canada's launch. But that wasn't me. I honestly still didn't even understand anything that was going on when I was talking to her. And I was just kind of like riding this wave. But what I did have in that there was I had developed a confidence within myself, right? That I built it. It started off with me just like talking to myself in the mirror. And then I got confident and comfortable enough to say it to people who like are real people, not just imaginary friends, right? And stuff like that. but really be thinking about it like that. Like you have to do that. You have to be looking in the mirror and being like, you are going to kill it today. You are going to do this today. Like you're going to have your to-do list and you're like, you know what? Today you're reaching out to 3 people. That is a completely different thing to write down on the to-do list, to like boldly reach out to 3 people than to look yourself in the freaking mirror. Like Mel Robbins says, give yourself that freaking high five and be like, you are reaching out to 3 freaking people today. Okay. That's the second part is you have to build that part in there. And the really cool, and I want to pause here for a second before I go into the third piece, because every single one of these pieces solely are dependent on you. They're not dependent on your upline, downline. They're not dependent on the network that you're in. They're not dependent on the financial wealth that you come into this business with. It's not dependent even on products. It's not dependent on a single thing. It's just you. Just you. That excited me, you guys. Never before in my freaking life, as a female coming up to be a professional hockey player, coming up through a male-dominated sport where people fought tooth and nail for me not to be able to play on the teams. When I was younger, my parents had to go and lobby to hockey associations. What team I landed on, what skill level it was that I had wasn't always up to me. I then went to college, then left college, went and started working in the oil field. Again, this other place where it wasn't up to me sometimes. And I stepped into this industry, and you should be so excited. This is up to you and on you. There's nothing holding you back. So if you've ever been in a position where you felt like, oh, like if freaking now it's on you. Be excited about that. Then the third thing. Okay. So the third thing here to wrap this up, and I hope that I delivered for you guys, and I hope that you can like take a little bit of this in, but the third thing you have to do for mindset is you have to remember how you are is how people are going to assume how they have to be to work this business. Right? Think about that again. How you are is how people are going to assume they have to be to work this business. So some people are going to take that as like, well, I don't want to seem pushy. Well, I don't want to seem this, that. I am pushy. I am motivating. I am this because I only want to attract those people that want to be that are excited to work like that. If they don't want to do that, let them be a freaking VIP customer and watch and be around you enough until your osmosis just goes into them and they're inspired to do that. Right? But don't look at it as though I don't want to be these things. I will push people to success. I will. If I see an inkling of that in them, you better believe I'm going to be cheering them on, but I'm also going to be the one there like, you better run, you better go because you're letting you down. Right? But I don't want to attract people who don't want big things. So I can't be small. To attract big, you got to be big. And I'm going to also tell you this other part. Did you know that in the first 3 months of my business, I would literally tell myself, okay, and it was actually kind of like from the movie We Bought a Zoo. Does everyone know that? Where it just took him like 20 seconds of insane courage to go and like change his, like ask the girl out, right? And me, I was like, I'm marrying money. So like, this is how I'm taking this, okay? But I looked at it and I was like, okay, I can be anything for 15 minutes a day, right? For 15 minutes a day, I can be anything. So I wasn't like the most confident person. I wasn't the most like electric person. I'm still not. Like, I'm a prickly cactus. Like, I guarantee you, most of you probably don't know who the hell I am, because guess what? I'm like the person that's by the snack table at any event you go to. At Monations, I was like literally stuffing my face with granola bars in the director's lounge because I'm just not that person that is like a warm and fuzzy. That's not me. But guess what? You better believe I want those people on my team, because I understand also that I need to attract people who are good at the things I am not good at. Right? So I can be anything for 15 minutes a day. Right? So I walk into that grocery store and people will assume that I'm the most like extroverted, outgoing person that is out there. I'm a freaking goalie. I sat alone in a net for 60 minutes of a game and was happy with it. Like, I'm good by myself, but I had to go for 15 minutes a day and be something else. Not that it was me being fake. It was me tapping into my soul. It was me tapping into that fire, that drive that I knew that if I don't access this part of myself that really does love people and does love to be around people, but I've turned it off for so long, because now you see me here today and I can do it for like 8 hours a day. I'm going to go do a Super Saturday tomorrow and I'm not going to be hiding in the corner by the food table, right? Like, I can turn it on, right? But that went from 15 minutes to now being able to do it for weekends long, right? Now people will be surprised on my team and they'll say, well, it's easy for you, Kat, to get up on stage. It's easy for you to do X, Y, and Z. It's easy for you to talk to anyone. Yeah, but it started with me being anything. I could be anything for 15 minutes any day. Do that. Try it out. 15 minutes, set a timer and you're bold for 15 minutes. Set a timer and you're the happiest person on the freaking planet for 15 minutes, right? Set a timer and you're the most outgoing person for 15 minutes, right? Then start building that muscle, start going for it. But that is, again, the third thing right there. Guess who that is solely dependent on is you, right? And I promise you, if you read the book, The Energy Bus, okay, by John Gordon, I highly suggest it if you have never read it, because your energy enrolls. Okay. Your energy fully enrolls. And what is the next step after talking to prospects? Okay. Honestly, this is like, probably like, I love this question. I hate this question at the same time, because I want to answer this to you in a very simple way. Be a freaking human. Okay. There is no magical script in person or online that's going to close someone. You can say the wrong thing to the right person. They're going to say yes every single time. You can say the right thing to the wrong person. They're going to say no every single time. I've learned that forward and backwards and seen it time and time again. Be excited for their success. Be excited for the possibility that unfolds for them. Be excited for what you can help them discover within themselves, and prep yourself with that. Also, be fully aware that the first few times that you do this, you're going to want to quit because you're not going to be perfect. But I wish I could go back and be that cat that wasn't perfect, because she was so much more relatable. She was so much more like, if she can do it, I can freaking do it. Right. So embrace that part of yourself right now in that, but just really tap into the idea that right here, you're running for something to bring people along. You know, the best thing about this business, yes, it's great. I'm a legacy founder and emerging founder, but so are my mom and my sister, my family, who stood by me and stuck by me through the hardest times in my entire life. I was able to pay them back with an opportunity that has now not just changed my life, but also changed theirs. Right. They're now sitting here. My mom's been a director. My sister's a Cadillac driver. Like it's been life-changing. All of us work from home money full time. But if I would have been too scared to talk to my mom or my sister, and they're pretty like intimidating people. My mom is a massive shareholder in an international corporation. Like, she's a businesswoman. She knows her stuff. She wasn't an easy person to talk to about some company that's selling shampoo, right? But just be bold for 15 minutes every single day. I love all you guys. Any questions, or Toni, want me to touch on anything else?
No, Kat, that was wonderful. And I know that you have to get going. There's just a couple of things that Jay and I want to share, but I just want to say, you guys, when I first met Kat 7 years ago, you know, I'm a hugger. I went up to hug her, and I'll never forget that she backed up. And I'm like, you know what? I invaded her space because I didn't exactly know how to read people as well as I do now. But it's so funny, even though we know each other now, she's much more open to doing that because of your mindset, of your personal development, and the things that you've done. And a lot of times what happens is that, you know, and you and I have both been burned really, really bad in our past by men, by relationships, by even family members and friends and stuff like that. So it makes us weary, and it makes us also, you know, very, you know, protective of our space. But I'm going to tell you, out of, you know, you, and I look at Amy Campos, and I look at Cynthia Mabry, and Amy Earle, and all of these people that we have been blessed by, that have really come out of, they've come out of their shell, and they've blossomed, and it's like a chrysalis, right? Like, you're the caterpillar and then you become the butterfly. That's truly what I have seen in you and many other people in this business. I mean, even for myself, knowing where I was when I started this business back in 2014 to where we are now, is that I'm a completely different person than even I was a year ago. And the same for him, the same with our relationship. We actually have a much better relationship now than we did, you know, even 2 years ago, because we have grown with this opportunity. We have grown with the personal development that we've done, and we've grown better together. But the one thing that I do want to say is that mindset is all about you feeding this right here and this right here. You have to feed your mind, your soul, and your heart. 3 things, right? Because they're 3 totally different modalities, but also that they're the same. You have to feed those every single day, and you have to rise, and you do have to grind, but you have to be better than you were yesterday. And that is the one thing that I know that, you know, a lot of you on this call do, because I know a lot of you on this call. but also too, myself included. And this is about your personal development. This is about self-care, self-love, self-worth. Because if you can't do that for yourself, you definitely cannot do it for others. And especially those of you that are in a caretaking role. And whether it's for children, parents, animals, all of those, or other people, is that you have to be more than what you give. And that is the one thing that I know from where I have to pour out of. I can't pour from an empty bucket. And so therefore, you've got to be doing the reading. You've got to be listening to the podcasts. You've got to be showing up for calls like this. I know right now, and I know that we called this call in a very short amount of time. I know that there's people that you guys are watching TV or you're at the bar. Okay. So you know what? If that's where you are and you're not doing the personal development, that's a problem you have to check in with yourself.
I have a completely different take on that, because when I first met Kat, we were car dancing to Anaconda. Remember that? Remember that?
Oh my
gosh.
That
was fantastic. There was a question earlier. It was basically, I'd love to know what you say to people to portray this business is a real deal. Hey, you know what? We get that a lot of times. I love that question.
Yeah. Can I answer that?
This team is your team. This team is yours. We have 80 millionaires in 8 years. You got the $10 million club. You got the $5 million club. You got the $1 million earners. How is this not a real business? You committed to this business. You're an entrepreneur. You decided that this business was worth your time and worth your effort. That makes it real. That makes it a tangible thing that you do every day. When you have people like us, when you have Kat, that's your example. We are your examples. Antonio Pennyman's on this call. He's your example. There's lots of people that are crushing it right now. That is your team. There is nothing more important in your life right now than this team. You showed up at 8 o'clock on a Friday night. Like she said, why aren't you at the bar? Because this was more important. This business for you was more important than all that stuff. So this business might just be your plan, not your plan A, not your plan B, not your plan C, not 1, 2, 3, 4. It's your plan. Work it like that. What are you going to do tomorrow? Today you showed up. What are you going to show up for tomorrow? What are you going to show up for on Sunday? Show up every day because you are worth it.
Kat, did you have something that you wanted to say and add?
I wanted to add something on that because I'm like a big verbiage person, and I'm a big words person. And the person who asked that question, you need to remove the to portray, because we're not portraying anything, right? This is real. This is not a show. This is not fake. This is not some kind of reality TV show with scripting. You're not portraying anything. You're living your life authentically, loudly, and proudly, right? So be so careful. Again, and mindset is being so careful of the words that you use. We're not portraying anything, right? That's where you're going to make the biggest mistakes, is when you start to portray. Just start to be real, right? Be real, be truthful, and be who you are, right? Be who you are, stay in your lane as who you are. I am in my lane, right? I'm not a glam girl. I am a recovering dirty girl that now sells shampoo. Dry shampoo is my BFF. Okay. You don't need to be all the things. Stay in your lane. Don't portray anything, because you're going to attract your people, but just be patient enough for your people to find you, right? As you're showing up loud and proud, and then find them too. Don't stop.
So Kat, before you go, and I want to talk about this because you went severely backwards in your business.
Mm-hmm.
You went, I think it was from AED to MM at one point, correct?
I went from ED to AED. So luckily.
Okay. All right. Well, forgive me, because I try to keep track of everybody, but sometimes that's not, possible. But I know that, you went backwards in your business. Talk about when that happened and your mindset and how you were able to overcome that.
Okay, so I wish I could tell you guys that I figured it out right away, but that's not the truth. So I'm going to give you the most valuable thing that you can ever get from a mentor, which is a shortcut. Okay, that is what mentors are for, is a shortcut. What took me 2.5 years to freaking figure out, okay, was number one, while outside forces can play a role in how things go, looking at them, blaming them, and even talking about them is going to do you absolutely no good. All right. I learned that if the moment that I can switch in my mind that I'm in control of every single thing, things start to move and change. The moment that I start giving control to things that I cannot control, to sources that I cannot control, that is where the downward spiral is going to start to happen. Right? That's where I'm going to plateau. That's where I'm going to go down in that sense there. So that's a really like important thing, because I think that when we start to like, you know, I remember the first month that I got announced as an AED and not an ED. That was I mean, to someone who's sitting at MMP, they'll be like, what's like, oh, woo-hoo, woo is you. That was blood, sweat, and tears that went into that ED title. Right? There was a pride attached to that. There was like a lot of stuff attached to that. And that really hurt my ego there. But I had to remind myself at the end of the day, and I had this reality hit me, and it was actually right about the time that COVID kind of hit. And I'm here in Canada, so we were literally locked down pretty hard for 18 months. And so you either had a choice to sink or swim. You had a choice to be a victim or a victor of your situation and all these different things. And I looked at it and I had this like freaking aha moment that just like punched me right in the head. And it was like, did you join money to be an executive director? Okay. I didn't know what that was. So no, I didn't. Right. Did you join money to change your freaking life? Yes, I did. Did you join money so that your daughter would have the time at home with her mom that she would have had if you were a stay-at-home mom, and the opportunity that the finances of a dual income home would create? Yes, you did. Okay. So I thought about that. And I thought about the idea there that, okay, so you sitting here whining about something that, yes, is super important. I will be hitting ED most likely this month again. I lost it 4 years ago, you guys. So this wasn't an easy climb back. Okay. But it's on, we're running for it and we're going there. Right. But I had to stop feeling sorry for myself. I had to stop playing the blame game. Okay. I had to get real about why I joined in the first place. I had to remember that. I had to go back to the girl who pushed accept at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time on August 1st, 2015, and remind myself why the heck she pushed accept. Right. I had to go into that, and I had to really meditate on that. And I had to really think about that. And then I would love to tell you that it was all smooth sailing up from there. But then, you know, it was hard. It was something I had to do every day for a long time, you guys. I had to remind myself every single day for a long time. I had to get that feeling every single day that you get when you jump off of a really awesome call. I had to put myself in positions to get that feeling every single day. I had to remind the devil who I was. I had to get out there. I had to be 15 minutes. I can be anything, any day at the time. I had to literally go and learn from the smartest person in my past, which was myself, who pushed accept 7 years ago. I had to go back to her, and I had to go back to what she did, because in my mind, she is the bravest, smartest, most ambitious person out there. And it is my job to also do her justice and not let something as simple as like negative press or someone laughing at me, someone posting memes or reels about me on Instagram, letting me derail myself. Like, no, that's not going to be the case there. I'm not going to let that happen. But then I also had to realize, and I had to sit down, and I'm a little bit type A. So if any of you are like me and you're a little bit type A and you're trying to figure out, or make a note of this, because you're going to have a time where your business goes backwards. Okay. I'm promising you this, like, because you're going to get too comfortable in your britches. Go and look at the trips that you're not earning. Okay, take a strong look at the trips that you're not earning and ask yourself, what are the key qualifications for that trip? So if the trips that you're not earning are passport trips, that's team, that's building a team, that's leadership level, that's really going up there. If you're not earning the director summit or get leadership summit, that's team stuff, that's building leader stuff. If you're not earning, reunion, that's purely on your personal business. right? If you're not earning passport, that could also be personal business. So look at what's holding you back in that and get real honest with that. Don't just say, oh, it's just another trip I didn't earn. Next time it'll happen. Look at it. Why didn't you earn it? Profit and loss like a regular business would do, right? Why didn't you earn that trip? Oh, hey, you had the qualifications for VIPs, but you didn't have it for team numbers, like you didn't have market partners. Okay, well, guess what you better do? You better wake up tomorrow, take a shower, put your recruiting pants on and start going and finding some teams. So when the next passport trip comes around, you're up there getting tier 3, right? If you're, maybe you don't have the VIP, hey, maybe girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever you are, maybe you should just get a little more comfortable in front of the camera. Maybe you should start doing some reels so your friends and family can boom, see what you're talking about, see what you're doing. But the trips for me wasn't that I wasn't earning them, but I had to really peel back as to why I wasn't earning certain trips, because I was earning leadership trips. Okay. Because I do through all of it, no matter what, I was still a badass leader. I was still so great. I would pour into my team because that's what I knew how to do. It was just so simple to me because I had to start recruiting again. I had to bring in fresh blood. I had to do that because I looked at the trips that I wasn't earning and it was all purely based on the fact that I wasn't personally recruiting like I was in the past. Right. And that's the cold, hard truth there. And then there's the whole process of getting yourself to be able to personally recruit, because you can't just snap your fingers and be like, look at me recruiting. You have to network. You have to go do all the things. I'm telling you right now, you got to network. You got to do all the things. You got to show up bigger, louder, prouder than you ever have before. You have to do all those things. It's not you can try to play the lottery and play it as a numbers games, but you're going to really increase your odds if you personally start double down on personal development, double down on who you're surrounding yourself with, right? Double down on the people that you're exposing your business to, just double down on that stuff. But you can make your ratio higher. Right? It's just so important. But at the end of the day, turning my business around came to recruiting. And I walk through in every single day. I am doing personal development, reach outs and bold asks, follow-ups, planning and inviting. If I have not marked those things off on my day, I heard John Maxwell has talked about it. I heard him talk. I actually am Maxwell certified, not through Monate. Before that, I did it before Monate gave it to us. But he talks about the 5 things that are going to support your one thing, right? And those are the 5 things that support my one thing, which is getting my MDC, which Stuart announced on a call that I'm very close on our Canadian stuff. So I'm very excited about that. And then SCD, right? But those 5 things are going to support that one thing. So I know I rambled a bit there, but I hope it made sense to you guys.
Hey, will you do me a favor and repeat those 5 things again? Because that was fabulous.
Yeah. So I call it my 5 15-minute quadrants. If you notice, my mind works in 15 minutes. That's just me there. So first 15-minute quadrant in my day is personal development. Okay. Second 15-minute quadrant is reach outs and bold asks. The next 15-minute quadrant is follow-ups, whether it's following up with people that I've been talking to the business or my customers, it falls in there. Number 4 is planning. So I'm planning the next day. What's my personal development for the next day? Who am I reaching out to for the next day? What follow-ups do I have to do the next day? And then the 5th one is inviting. I'm inviting to something all the time. Every day I have to invite for 15 minutes.
Wow.
So I don't like numbers. I pick times because I feel like we underestimate what we can do in 15 minutes. I really feel like we do.
So, the one thing that I want to bring to light here, because you had started this single mom, working full time, doing the hockey gig and all that other stuff, is that you had to do this while you were wearing all of these other hats. An hour and 15 minutes a day, just 3 days a week. Mm-hmm. And you were able to replace your income. Mm-hmm. How long did it take you to quit doing massages?
I retired from all jobs, all of my gigs, after the October 2015 paycheck. So 3 months.
Jesus Christ. That is incredible.
And I'll tell you guys, it was an amount of money on that check that I just didn't ever think was possible to be ever seen. But I put my head down and I did that. I'll say it wasn't 3 days a week that I did that. It was 7 because I was hungry, right? Right. It was middle of the night. It was whenever I could fit it in. I also tweaked my day a little bit, you guys. So if you're in your work life, don't be married to what your reality is right now. You can make adjustments. So instead of having my massage clients come 20 minutes after each other, so I had time to change over the room, I added 15 minutes in between each client so that I could fit in a 15-minute quadrant.
No, and I clearly remember you doing this, but you know what, for the average person, because you are not average, you're above average, because you did this 7 days a week so that you could have that time and financial freedom. But you know what, when you're looking at people that are wearing many different hats, and if they just did this, you know, this 15-minute 5 quadrant, 3 days a week. Okay. So if you figure that out, you guys, that's only 5.5 hours, maybe a little bit more of your time per week. Your life would look so much different right now. And that includes everybody that's on this call and everybody that is going to listen in on this call, because that is the game changer right there, is because you're investing into yourself.
Well, and like another thing to also, like, I did not allow, that's why when I said to you guys that this was never my plan B, this was my plan A. So when I was at the nightclub bartending, doing bottle service stuff, like, guess what? I would go take a bathroom break for like 20 minutes and yeah, I'd get in shit. Yeah, I'd get in trouble, but I'd be sitting in the toilet on my phone. Like, I don't care. I'm out of here. Like, whatever. Cause this was my plan A. Right. So I was like, whatever, so-and-so can yell at me. They're always yelling at someone. Might as well be me. Like, I don't really freaking care because I'm building my way out of this. Right. But like, that's just like the mentality. I'm not saying like, go get fired from your job or anything like that. But I'm just saying, like, I also knew that job would replace me in 2 seconds if anything went wrong in my entire life. I knew that job was going to fire me the moment that I didn't have a babysitter to come to my house in the middle of the night and watch my daughter all the night long. Right. Like, I knew that. So I gave them the respect they gave me. And I give my respect to this business the same that it gives me. And it gives me so much respect. I have people like Toni and Jay in my life, and Ray and Stuart, and like, I will walk off a cliff into fire for them because of what they've done for my life and how they've changed that. And if you don't feel like you have that connection with people in your business right yet, take your head out of the sand and start talking to people. Go and network with people. People aren't going to walk around looking to be your friend. You need to go look to be people's friends in this business and network here too. My top book is 5 Levels of Leadership by John Maxwell. That is my ultimate favorite go-to book that I read every year.
So you know what? That's awesome. You guys, I want to share something with you because Catherine had posted this on my mirror back in August or July. I don't remember. And I was going through some really rough spots. And
Catherine, our 14-year-old.
Yes.
In case you don't know.
But you guys might have seen this. You guys might have seen this on my social media when I posted it. And actually this post has gotten more likes than any other post I have put up ever. But I want to share with you because this is what you do for your children, how you, and also for other family members, is that when you start going to work on yourself, when you start setting your mind right and your kids watch you and they see you, but then again, they also see what's not going right. So I was going through a really, really rough patch. And all of a sudden I wake up and this Post-it note is on my mirror, which is still there. And I read it every single day. And even when I travel, I have it, and I'm reading it to you right now because I have it on my phone, is that she wrote mantras for mom. 1, my time is valuable. I love myself. I'm a boss. I am beautiful. I am capable. I am worthy. I'm unstoppable. High five yourself. So you think about the power of your mindset and what it does for your children when you work on you. And when your teenage kid writes this for you because she sees that you're not in the space that you need to be in, or there's something going on, that to me was invaluable, right? So you really, look at what you're teaching your children as you grow as a person, as yourself.
I love you, Daddy. Thanks for lunch.
But anyways, so we just wanted to share that with you today. You guys, if you have, I had a hard time not crying reading this to you because I cry every time I read it. But if you guys have anything that you want to share, any questions that you want to ask, now is the time to unmute. I know that Kat has to go. Kat, please tell Jessie I said hello and give her a big freaking hug for me. You guys, if you don't know, Jessie was with us for 3 years and she had a baby, life changed, and now she's back. And we're so excited because she's incredible.
Back up in Canada.
Yeah, back up in Canada. But if you guys have anything that you want to share or anything that maybe how mindset has affected you, if you have any questions, please let us know. Hey, Penny, what's up, my bro?
Man, I just love y'all so much. Thank you for putting this together. This is my plan A. Like I'm locked in all the way. But what would you guys say to, like the mom, because I have a few moms on here that have jobs and, they have to balance the family, themselves and their jobs. Like, what would you say to them, just to get them going and how this can add so much value to what they're already doing? Because a lot of people, we say that our kids are a reason, but then we turn around and say our kids are the excuse of why we can't do things. And it can be both, right? And so what would you say to the moms on here that have a job and, juggling that and how they can add money in?
And Tina
can answer that.
Yeah. And she can unmute because she's a perfect example of this. I know Kat had to hop off because she had the corporate call with Canada that she had to be on, but I'm going to tell you what, I took my kids everywhere when I started in network marketing. I mean, like Catherine was she was still on the tit, and I would take her to home parties when I was doing purse parties. And I would tell I would tell the girl hosting that, hey, I have a newborn. She's going to come with me. Are you okay with that? And they're like, absolutely 100%. But also too, if you have young children, you've got to get up earlier in the morning or you're going to stay up later. You've got to be working when it's nap time, or you're going to carve that time out where they're going to do special activities. And I love what I learned this very early on is that when you have to do calls or you have to do trainings or you're working with your team and it's going to be when your kids are up or around, is that they have a special kind of like in a box or a place that you're going to pull out special activities that your children can do while you're working your business. That's the first thing. The second thing I'm going to tell you, I don't care what rank you're at. If you're working this business and you're going for it, you have to have a housekeeper once a week. And it's an expense. So you can write all of that off. That is a non-negotiable. That's the second thing. The third thing is that you have to have a regular ritual for your children. Okay. Bedtime, mealtime, what have you. You can't just willy-nilly all of this. You have to be super structured. And there are a lot of parents that will come to me and say, well, I'm not structured. And I said, well, that's your fault. You need to get on a structure and you need to have a regular time that you're doing business, a regular time that you're spending time with your kids. You are turning your phone off, whatever. If it's at 8:00 at night and your phone is off, then it's off until the next morning. But you have to be that proponent for your schedule. And that is the biggest thing that people can do in this business, is to schedule your time. And that is what we often don't do.
And also with that, one of the most powerful networks in the world is the mom network. You're in preschool together, you're at nursery school, you're at the park, whatever. And so often we don't see moms and dads plugging into that amazing network. There's already a level of trust there. There's already, you're bringing your kids, they're used to it. It's already a very family thing. And Monate's a very family oriented business. We saw that at Monations. We've seen that on all the trips. And this is one of those businesses that is really easy to tap into that network. The moms that don't have enough time, the dads that don't have enough time. And there's sort of an inherent built-in network there with all the parents that sometimes tapping into that is lost.
Absolutely. So Tina, I would love for you to share, because I have watched you through this entire business. I've watched you grow. You're raising 3 littles. You were pregnant when you started Monate. So please share your best examples.
So when I started Monate, I was not in the best mindset at all. I let a lot of people dictate to the way I should be feeling and not the way I know I can feel, the way I can make people feel. I love you too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We weren't muted.
You guys are my main screen, so I'm not like looking at myself because this is really nerve-wracking. I don't know if anybody have been on a call with Toni and Jay. I've been at their house. They took me in. It was amazing. But at that time that I went there, I literally had just had my baby a few months prior to that, and postpartum kicked in. It was really tough to really get into the groove of mindset and time blocking and scheduling. Just like Toni said, I scheduled everything down to a T on my phone. It was alarms that went off on my phone, breakfast, lunch, okay, outside to play, okay, check my group chat, okay, it's nap time. This is the time I'm going to do content, reach outs, you name it. I would just pack it into that time. And just like Toni said, so now my kids are in school because I was blessed to be able to afford daycare for my two little ones, thanks to Monate. But now I stay up late or I get up earlier because I'm in school full time for a nutrition degree. I'm also running another business, trying to build my personal training business and build my team again. I got to MMB very quickly, and that team went way without me, and I needed that time. So I really have been pouring into myself for the last year, and mindset is the biggest thing that you will ever get. That is your strength, no matter what is happening in your life. Mindset is the key. So personal development for me every day is a must. And I take that time out in the morning, 15 minutes, just like she said. I don't block it in the whole 15 minute, hour, 15 minute span. I'm 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. It's whenever I can catch the actual break to fit this business in, but it does work as long as you're mentally capable, which we all are, and we are organized. So that's all I had to say.
So I want to say though, watching your journey, you look amazing. I know that you've lost a ton of weight. You're doing this thing with nutrition. You're like crushing it in Monate. I just want to say, you know what, watching journeys like yours, Antonio, Angela, who's on this call, Kat, many other people, it makes my heart soar to see how people have been able to change, and they become better and better and better. And the more people that you've been able to help, and just, it just warms my heart to see the amazing impact that we have. And that's what we have to give as a gift, is the impact. Yeah. It is the impact, and it is the mindset shift. And I can tell you that all of us on this call, you guys have all seen mindset shifts in here. Emily just put in the chat. Sherry just put in the chat, all of the incredible things that they've been able to do. And Emily, I got to tell you, having your groceries delivered to your door is like amazing. It's totally amazing. So the one thing is that you guys always look at, number one, if you're struggling for time, okay, to work the business, do the personal and professional development, you've got to take the suggestions that we just gave you in order to make more time for you to be more successful. And it all starts with mindset, or maybe I say mind shift.
Ooh, that's good.
Mind shift. Yeah. So,
and also too, it's amazing to me after all these years, seeing all the success that we've seen. The most successful people in this business are the ones that keep it simple, that go back to the time management, that go back to our Maxwell principles, the John Maxwell tree. You're not going to chop it down in the first day. You chop it down a little by little, and before you know it, that tree's burning in your fireplace, right? It's just, there's a cascading rhythm to simplicity. Yeah. And all the comments in here, all the fantastic comments kind of go back to that same thing. If you have kids, time management, working your family, working your business, Kat's steps for how to do this. It goes back to the simple steps, not reinventing the wheel. And all these comments tonight have been fantastic. Who would have thought we would have had this many fantastic comments at almost 9 o'clock on a Friday?
Right.
It just amazes me. It still amazes me. It kind of gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Every time we get on these calls, because everybody has so many good ideas. And
it's just the collective part of us being a team and sharing our best practices. Angela, I saw you had your hand up. Did you want to add something?
Hey, Toni and Jay, I would love to add something. I have been a market partner since 2017. I bought the biggest product pack without ever trying it because of the research I did prior to joining, and made it to MMB pretty quickly, got super busy in my salon and was busy taking care of other market partners' hair and ran out of time for my own business development. And so almost a year and a half ago, I decided no more new clients. And I'm focusing 100% of my effort now on my Monet business and doing hair when I feel like it. And a big tool is CRM. And I have to tell you, kudos to you, kudos to Kelly, kudos to Anthony. That has been a game changer for me. My brain is back on no sleep because it just doesn't stop. And so I'm slowing down to speed up because my bell curve, I lost my rank as MMB. I was an AMM at one point. And now I'm ready to find the right people with the right attitude, with the right energy, with the right focus. And the CRM is allowing me to automate all the little things that were ankle biters around my feet. And so it's giving me more time to do the networking that I so desire. So I want to say thank you to you. I want to say thank you to Anthony, you and Jay, and Anthony and Kelly. Kelly is the engineer that can communicate with all of us who are not so techie. And I love that gift that she brings to the whole entire organization. There's a subculture within the culture of Monet. And I'm just so, so grateful that I'm here doing this right now.
Well, Angela, thank you so much. And thank you for all of the help that you've given us. I cannot say how much I love you and your husband and everything that you represent and what you've done. So I so appreciate you. We appreciate you so much.
Thanks for being on the call tonight. It's nice to see you again.
Yes. You know what the CRM does, it allows you to work smarter, not harder. And like I said, it just has created this fire under my feet to get it done quickly. So I can, with confidence, feel like I have a duplicatable system to offer the people that join my team. And so thank you just seems so inadequate.
My heart. So you guys, we're going to wrap this up because I know we're coming up on the 9 o'clock hour. Jay and I are doing a massive success mastery training in March. We're honing in on March 11th, but we have an alternate date as March 25th. Stuart's already committed to it. We're going to have some amazing speakers here. I just talked to Kat. I'm like, you've got to be here. You got to share. She's going to be coming down. We're working on Krista Parney, Christina Smallwood, and some other amazing folks from our Monet family. And then I have a very special guest that's also going to be sharing with us. So, I'll let you know those dates for sure next week. It will either be the 11th or the 25th. So you guys make sure that you make a plan to join us for that Saturday. It's going to be like a super, super Saturday. So I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for being on. Angela, thank you for contributing. Tina, Antonio. Where it's in Charleston, South Carolina, you guys, where we live. So it will be here. And then I also want to thank Kat. I know she's not on the call, but love you guys. Yeah, Tina, now you have to fly because you don't live in Florida anymore, my friend. So we will be so honored to have you here for the event, but we'll keep you posted. And thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. I love you. We love you all.
We love you.
Mwah. All right. Bye-bye.